Jordan, and Kerr on the floor for the Bulls. Rice, Anderson, Myers, Curry, and Parrish for the Charlotte Hornets. And the Bulls want the ball, and they'll go to the length of the floor here. A lot of times you'll see a team take it at side court, center court, but pressure in the backcourt by Charlotte. The inbound to Pippen. Here's Michael. Time left in the game. Right-hand corner of your screen. Michael Jordan kicks it to Kerr, tipped out of bounds. Last touch by Charlotte. It will be Chicago ball. Still 9.8 remain.
Boy, Michael had his body going 100 miles an hour. He couldn't make that pivot. He had Steve Kerr out on the side.
See if they use it.
They want Scotty to take it or Tony.
Now the Bulls want a timeout. 9.8 seconds remaining. It looked like on that play, Red, that Jordan was to penetrate, and if he didn't have it, he was going to kick it out to Steve Kerr for the game-winning shot. But as it was, Michael
was going full bore on Pete Myers. He made a 360, stumbled, tried to kick it out, and it looked like Kenny Anderson got a piece of it. Let's see what happened. There's the overhead cam here. Michael goes down this way, comes around. Watch him. He loses the ball momentarily. Now he makes his penetration. See Kenny Anderson coming over as he slips. Kenny just taps the ball, but Steve was sitting over there on the right-hand side, and that's what they wanted to do. Have Michael drive down. Pete plays him very well.
And either Jordan will take this, or if they surround him, as was the case, he'll try to go to Kerr for an open look.
Well, that's what they'll have. Kukoc and Kerr in the corners. Two Ks in the corners. Michael Jordan will have the ball. And I'm surprised that they did stay with the Chief last time in the game. Now, he's got to just roam in the center. I don't know who he will guard on offense.
The Bulls are out of timeouts now. The Hornets do have 2 timeouts remaining. And again, on the line, a 44-game winning streak in the regular season here at the United Center. An unblemished 37-0 mark here at home. And the Bulls with a win here tonight, and we haven't talked about this, Red, but a win by the Bulls here tonight would guarantee them home floor advantage throughout the NBA playoffs, including a championship series against the Western Conference Bulls.
Bulls had a 4-point lead in the first quarter, 10 at halftime as Pete Myers hit a long three-pointer with a second to play, and then they trailed by 3. Going into the fourth quarter, trailed by what, as much as 12, was it, I believe?
Yes. 15 in the fourth quarter.
Scotty with the ball. He's got to get the ball in. They will try to play the good pressure. Dennis Rodman is being guarded by Parrish.
Better than 20,000 on their feet here at the United Center. Pippen on the inbounds.
Oh, I tell you, he's throwing the alley-oop.
Kerr to Kukoc. Tony on the move. To the bucket. No, the tip Rodman. No, the tip Jordan. No, Pippen. No. And the ball game is over. The Charlotte Hornets have defeated the Chicago Bulls here at the United Center, 98-97, snapping a 44-game winning streak by the Bulls on their home floor. And they did it tonight without Larry Johnson in the second half. Johnson sitting out with a sore wrist. Charlotte, a team that lost to the Bulls 126-92 Friday night. 3 nights later, comes into Chicago and does what no foe has done till now. Beat the Bulls in the United Center. Back with some final comments after these messages.
Has your heart slowed down? Take a deep breath. What a game.
I'm Randy Salerno, live outside the Bulls locker room. A look back at the streak that was, coming up on WGN News.
Plus, blood is not always thicker than water tonight. Why the relatives of the suspected Unabomber say they had no choice but to turn him in. Plus, a sensational weather forecast next on WGN News.
Consider credit card rebates, gasoline, airline miles, cars, many...
You know what's going to be talked about tomorrow? How tired they were after the Magic game, and then that last call, that call that didn't happen.
Right, reminiscent, I think, of a Knicks game not too long ago when the Bulls were on the opposite end of all that.
Okay. Randy, thank you. We'll have Dan Roan just a little later on with more details, highlights on the Bulls game. The other big story tonight, the family of suspected Unabomber Theodore Kaczynski breaks their silence through a lawyer who describes their anguish.
219 games below 500, not in the playoff race, but in search of more than just respect. They're looking for an identity. They're looking for a big center. They are looking for a new owner. We're looking at the highlights. Jason Kidd, Jim Jackson, he may be leaving shortly. It's tied early. Then Jerome Kersey, B.J. Armstrong, the former Bull, for three. They may have used his outside shooting in Chicago tonight. And then Kidd all the way in on a lefty drive. And he gets hit by Joe Smith, and the Mavs were up 4 in this game. And the score right now is Dallas and Jason 50, the Warriors 44. The Warriors, as I said, have won 2 in a row, so they think they're in this thing. Dallas is 9-27 in games decided by 10 points or less. They are 4-14 since March 1st. Well, I think we've bashed the Mavericks enough. Elsewhere, the Blazers and the Clippers, they are playing there. It is the Clip Joint on top 42-35 in the second quarter, 3:57 left to go. Portland has won 7 in a row. They are 12-1 since Rod Strickland returned from the suspension. One other note, by the way, on the Warriors. Chris Mullin came back and shot today. His ankle appears to be getting better. When we come back on SportsCenter, we'll hear from the Bulls, who are not better after losing tonight. In our breakdown segment, Keith under the hood to find out why the Sonics keep breaking down in the postseason.
I'm grateful that Michael Garcia...
Chicago as of this moment doesn't sound good until you realize that nobody in the Bulls' real division is even 20 games behind them. The Sonics have been great in a year in which the Bulls have been indescribable. In our breakdown segment tonight, we address one small problem for Sean Kemp in Seattle, the fact that only twice since 1989 have they survived the first round of the playoffs.
He's not no superstar. He's just a really good player. He hasn't crossed that line yet. Got to make it out of the first round of the playoffs. You got to make it out of the first round of the playoffs.
And for the past 2 seasons, that's been the problem. Last year, the Lakers put an early end to the Sonics' spring. The year before that, the Nuggets spoiled talk of a championship after Seattle had posted a 63-victory campaign. Why should this season be any different? Well, first of all, the Sonics already at the 60-win plateau, owning the best record in the West. They were the top seed in '94. That's when the Nuggets took them out in the first round. But this season, Seattle is undefeated against Denver and Sacramento and Golden State, the 3 teams vying for the last playoff spot in the West, and thus the first playoff spot in the Sonics' future. Defensively, Seattle is second in the conference behind Utah, holding opponents to an average of 97 points per game.
You have different bodies. Irvin's a long shot blocker. When Burkowski comes in, when he's healthy, he's a bruiser type of body, butt and grind guy. And then Sam comes in, who's got the long arms and can kind of deflect the ball a little bit. So I think we've improved in that area. It was the priority of training camp.
Another priority was acquiring a shooting guard. The Sonics traded the troubled Kendall Gill to the Hornets for Hersey Hawkins. The past 2 seasons, Gill averaged 13.9 points and hit 101 shots from behind the three-point line. Hawkins is averaging 15.7, and he hit 134 threes this year alone.
He's an excellent conceptual person. By that is, he understands what we're trying to do. He runs plays well, he executes well, and he knocks down the open jumper. And it's given us just a confidence, and the game of basketball is so much just confidence.
Confidence, and also what you do in the playoffs. In a 60-win season, it's hard to talk about a team peaking at a given moment, but with the Bulls' loss tonight, that means that since the 1st of February, the Sonics have actually been, record-wise, better than Chicago, and also averaging 4.1 points per game more.
Ask an NBA fan which team the big dog plays for. Most, if not all, will tell you the Milwaukee Bucks. Ask fans in Utah, and most, if not all, will tell you our big dog has been in the big dog house lately. Antoine Carr averaging more fouls per minute than rebounds. Woke up last night, matching a season high with 15 points. And the Jazz are going to need the former Spur if they entertain thoughts of catching the Spurs in the Midwest. A game of cat and mouse. Back and forth this one went. Charles Smith out with back spasms. Elliott, he scored the first 7 Spur points. But Karl Malone picks off the Avery Johnson pass here, and he is gone. Coast to coast. Ouch. Now remember this, David Robinson, baseline fade, first field goal, would not have another until quarter number 4. What hurt the Spurs? Turnovers. John Stockton gets a loose ball. Chris Morris gets the easy 2. Jazz 22 first half points off turnovers. They're up by 5 at the break. In the third, Elliott for 3. Vinny Del Negro on the baseline. He had 9 third-quarter points, and the Spurs are up 8. Here come the Jazz. Antoine Carr. There's the big dog. The offensive board, the hook, and the foul. The Jazz cut it to 3. Carr had 11. 92-89, 30 to go. Stockton. It goes. Jazz within 1. 10 seconds now, and the rifleman, Chuck Person, from 90 feet away. No. Jazz with one last chance. 1.4 to go. Benoit! The Spurs win 92-91 on Utah's home floor. That is your final. The Spurs' magic number now to clinch the Midwest is down to 3. Elliott had 21, matching the mailman who also had 21. Utah lost 5 of 6 overall, and against San Antonio this year, 1 and 3. The Raptors and T-Wolves, 115-101. The T-Wolves are winners in this game. Isaiah Ryder, 28 points. By the way, Carlos Rogers, done for the season. The Raptors put him on the injured list. He suffered a neck strain in a Saturday loss to the Knicks. When we come back on SportsCenter, do not put the word extinct in front of the Hartford Whalers. They battle the Penguins, who are battling.
Broken over her head. The guy robbed her for $2. You know, and it was terrible, man. And she had to go to get rushed to get a blood transfusion. And when she got a blood transfusion, you know, she caught the AIDS virus.
When Linda Williams was diagnosed in 1982, it wasn't even called AIDS. And because people knew so little about the disease, she was treated like a pariah.
While she was in the hospital, it was like a scene from Outbreak. You had to wear all the stuff to go in there, masks, put all these gowns and gauzes and stuff over your shoes to go in there. And I refused to wear that. This is my sister.
She had to use the hospital's garbage elevator when coming for treatment and was denied dental work on teeth that her mother had to eventually pull. Even after Linda Williams died in 1982, she couldn't escape humiliation. The funeral home would not accept her remains. She had to find refuge in a Catholic church, and she went down in the books as one of the first recorded cases of AIDS in New York City. But before her disease was diagnosed, Linda, coping with the assault, turned, along with her sister Laura, to intravenous drug use.
She could never live with her face being beaten up like that, and she started messing and doing stuff she shouldn't have been doing, and unfortunately, my second sister caught the virus also from my first sister. You know, I guess that's the way she caught it, and that's the way we perceived it. And I lost both my sisters, who were both my best friends.
It was very hard on him because he was hurt, he was angry, and the people on the Lower East Side, they weren't used to women having AIDS. So he stood out.
Laura Williams died in 1986. Jayson says the deaths of his sisters had nothing to do with how he behaved, but his loss coincided with some erratic behavior on his part. While at St. John's, he hit a fan with a chair during a game in Providence after the fan spat at him, Williams claims. During the second of 2 unproductive seasons with the 76ers, Williams got in a barroom fight in Chicago. He had his own bar in New York and partied hard.
Playing your rookie year with Charles Barkley. You know, you go out every night, and, you know, this guy just goes on 2 hours of sleep a day, and I'm a guy, I need 8 hours of sleep. So going out with Charles Barkley, he just ruined me for 2 years. It took my liver 2 years to recover from hanging out with Charles Barkley, you know? So I miss Charles Barkley like a diaper rash.
The Sixers traded him to the Nets, and after 2 more inconsistent seasons, Williams realized he had to slow down.
At 26, I have seen him start to change and start to be more mature and know that if he's going to stay in this business of the NBA, he needs to change his ways.
It just comes a point in a man's life when he wakes up and says, boom, man, I got to quit acting like a kid. I got to grow up.
I think he's more grounded now. I think he'll, you know, try to do the right things. He's a guy who's concerned about going to chapel now and, you know, trying to get himself on the right track.
Williams lost 25 pounds, shed the bar, and stopped drinking alcohol during the season. Considered to be one of the strongest players in the league, while not a consistent scorer, Williams has turned to a role that also defines him off the court, rebounder.
I tried it for one night, and I think I pulled out like 16 rebounds, like 18 minutes. I was like, man, I can make a living at this.
Away from the game, Williams is fulfilling his dream, a dream house. 20 years ago, he worked with his father on construction jobs. Now they work together, building a home in New Jersey that everyone will live in.
Love you. I'm getting it all together. My dad stops taking these long lunch hours. We can finally get it together.
Everyone together. Among them, a child of each of his late sisters, an infant Alex Jayson, born to Monique, the daughter of Laura.
So I'm the only grandfather in the NBA.
This grandfather will never see his sisters again, but they will always be in his heart and home.
I have 2 bedrooms, and then nobody ever sleep in. That's why I need 16 bedrooms. You know, one's for Linda and one is for Laura. You know, and I'll adjust it up and decorate it just the way I think they would like it. And I'll go in there and say, here it is. You know, we finally got it. You know, we finally made it right here, and we're gonna have a good time, and this is your house, and they always be with me. They're with me all the time.
In an unexpected way, the hell that Jayson Williams has been through may have opened the minds of the more than 350 players in the NBA. When Irvin Johnson returned this season, Williams told a teammate, "You've got a better chance of Ed McMahon showing up at your door with a check than you do of catching HIV from Magic." Unfortunately, Jayson knew those statistics firsthand. Still ahead on SportsCenter, the late hockey highlights.
We can look to the positive side of things, and now we can be more focused at home instead of being overconfident and not coming out ready to play.
Did you think free throws indicate fatigue?
Easy. You know, I think that's a good sign of fatigue, especially when you get people constantly making their free throws, and when you start missing free throws, the first thing you think about is fatigue.
Did you think anybody could beat you here?
Anybody could. I mean, I never said that we couldn't. We didn't want it to happen, quite naturally, but in this game, anything's possible. We know that, and you know, I think it really puts us in a different frame of mind coming here. I mean, no matter even if you are playing at home, you got to be ready and up for the challenge.
So can you look at that as a positive now?
Do I have any choice? I think we got to look at it from a positive. I think, you know, we don't sit here and mope about one loss, you know, at home. You know, and when you start the playoffs, it doesn't matter what you do at home or away. I mean, you got to be ready to play. And I think we got confidence in this building. That goes without saying. But you know, tonight they were a better team.
Michael, the schedule makers didn't do you guys much favors here. 5 games in 7 nights. Were you guys a little gassed?
Yeah, a little fatigued. You know,
photographers aren't supposed to be down here.
We've bounced back all season long through a certain schedule. And, you know, but tonight we weren't able to do that, and it was disappointing to a certain extent. But yet, you know, we learned from it.
You talked about those last 19 seconds. Probably were running in slow motion for you there.
Well, I mean, Phil gave me an opportunity to go full court and try to break the defense down, and you know, he was playing very fair.
The other guys have just been playing for stats, I guess you could say, instead of playing to win. I mean, that's not a rule ball. We got to look for one another. That's how we got where we are now, playing together and you know, and being a team, and not just any great individual or anyone out. You know, continue to show the world that, you know, they deserve to start or anything like that. You know, we just got to play together and, you know, play the game like it should be played.
Is there too much? Is there some of that creeping into the team? People worrying about things like that, do you think? Or?
I think it kind of showed a little bit tonight. You know, me being a guy that handles the ball and being the leader on the court, you know, I feel like that, you know, the offense is not revolving like it's been. But, you know, when you lose, you tend to want to point fingers. But I just think tonight we lost our concentration. We started looking for offensive opportunities instead of doing what we needed to do to put this team away.
Sometimes when you get up like you guys did, you probably, you know, get to thinking you got it, right?
Well, that's what happened tonight. I mean, we felt like coming in at halftime that, you know, we had the game. We were up 11 points on this team. They hit a lucky shot, hit a three-point play right before the half, and, you know, cut it down to a 10-point lead, 11, whatever. But, you know, we didn't come out the second half with the same type of intensity that we needed to beat this team.
It's got to hurt a little bit more to get so close to this perfect home record. It's within your reach, and then it goes.
It hurts. I mean, we knew we were there, and, you know, we may finish the season with 2 or 3 losses at home, but, I think tonight's game really hurt because no way that we were supposed to blow that lead and allow this team to go up 10-11 or whatever they went up on us. I mean, we just, you know, it showed that we weren't playing hard, especially on the defensive end. I mean, when we had to reach down and gut it out, I mean, we were a totally different team.
Scott, even down 12 early in that fourth quarter, did you feel confident that you can still come back even though the tank was still a little empty?
Yeah, I feel very confident we was going to come back. You know, I thought the field made some substitutions there that, you know, try to get some guys some rest. But, you know, I feel confidence, you know, at 5 minutes ago. I mean, it doesn't matter. I think this team confidence is so high that, you know, we feel like we're not going to lose any game.
Those final 19 seconds must have felt like a lifetime, huh?
Well, no. I mean, I feel like that you know, we're going to win the ball game. You know, no matter what. I mean, play the field call, it worked perfect. I mean, Tony got a good look at the basket. We crashed the boards. We pulled away all the chips. You know, we had our opportunities.
What was that last play call when Tony ends up on what were the options?
It was basically I was supposed to try to hit Tony stepping in on the back door, but they synced in. I threw it to Steve. Steve made the pass to him, and Tony went on isolation, you know, to get to the basket quick. And he went hard to his left, spent back, and, you know, he got a good shot. You know, Parrish came over and challenged it, which left the boards pretty open. You know, if we had it all to do over again, I'm sure I would have brought the ball down and went up strong. Michael would have probably did the same, but, you know, you're not thinking like that when you're out there. I mean, the shot was so easy for us that, you know, we thought it was easy.
Michael just said you didn't really start playing the game until the fourth quarter. How much fatigue in the last 5 games in 7 days played a factor into that, or was it just a mental toughness?
I don't think it was the fatigue. I don't think it was mental toughness. I just think that we underestimated this team tonight. We felt like that the game was over in the first half, and it wasn't.
At Utah State, and it's still his biggest thrill was winning the class. He would have been better suited to pass that back out. Look at Jason Kidd find Jimmy Jackson. Jason Kidd is one of the most daring passers in the NBA. Warriors down 3, looking for a tie game from BJ. Nice play by Kersey. Almost cleared his own miss. Jason Kidd a pull-up 3. He has 10 points.
3 points, number 5, Jason Kidd.
What Rick Adel finish. Jerome Kersey to Joe Smith. Technical on Joe. Oh my, what a call. What did he do? He hang on the rim? That's what they're... BJ, Sprewell, dunk! With 2.5 to play in this third quarter, get Andrew DeClercq up. He'll be coming in. Tipped in. Lorenzo Williams tipped it in after Kidd looked like he had thrown a bit. Like the Sacramento game where Richmond hit a 3. Popeye, another 3! Oh, it's ugly. And like Spike Lee says, deadly. In a tough position. Pulls up on Jackson. They gave him the right side. Pimbo's back. George McLeod goes right for that 3-point line. Another big rebound, Warriors. Borrelli lost the ball to Jackson. Clean play. Bimbo claims he was fouled. But Alex says, I'll see you right here. Here's your game. Sprewell wants it, but Bimbo Coles lost the ball. They fouled Jason Kidd with 4.5 to go. Sprewell was open on the right side. He had his hands
out. Okay. You can foul a few of them out, especially if it's Kerr looking inside to Edwards. Good ball movement, Chicago for 3, Pippen.
Well, the ball went to
to Harper, but he wouldn't take the jump.
Curry, Brown with a steal. Jordan.
Well, Steve Anthony goal line one started the offense entirely too high, and then
the last 3 games. Here's Michael Jordan.
The explosion and the finish. It is vintage.
15 points for Michael Jordan, but the third personal on 50-37. Myers, it'll count if it goes. Yes!
Way to go, Petey!
Pete Myers.
Stiff.
Rodman sends Pippen. Ties it up again.
And Scottie Pippen comes up lane. You got Jordan on Curry, and Curry trying to help out on Curry.
Ooh, Geiger for 3 more. Oh! 2 game. You know it's a special night when men
finish, but he had to move. Here comes Michael.
Oh, Michael will finish. 9-0 run for the Bulls. Jordan with 31. Screaming for goaltending. Here comes Kenny Anderson up and under for 2. Kenny Anderson with 16 and the Hornets lead by 5. Kukoc on Curry. Spins. Over. No. The tip by Jordan. No. The tip too strong. Time runs out. The Hornets win. The streak is over. Charlotte upset.
A little lift.
Yeah, coming up next for the Indiana Pacers at 9 to 0.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, doggone it. Smith for Trey. Look out.
Oh, this guy here, you don't want to get him.
Overall, what's interesting, this is not a good shooting team. Now the steal as Dwayne makes a mistake, and Mookie Blaylock will give the Hawks the lead. Mookie Blaylock, we're inside 2 minutes. Reggie, wide open over Elo. Yes,
sir. Reggie's got the look. 32 seconds left. Will probably get the last shot.
Reggie for Gray. Oh, how big was that?
Karl Malone with 10 points. Don Elliott back inside Robinson. He'll square away this trip and lives a clear cross court right side of Benny for a 3-pointer, and it's good. Benny Del Negro, his second bucket. Yo-Yo's belt high. He'll go to Hornacek underneath angle left. Jump hook. Good. Hornies with the baseline left. And Stockton the on the right corner to Avery Johnson. Avery fake right, go left. Karl Malone helps up top to Elliott. This for 3. Robinson on his back. Isley gives to him. Karl fakes. Backs in one bounce. Robinson right on him. Robinson across the river. Karl Malone across the middle. Score. Running one-hander by the mailman. Behind Antoine Karl. Stockton left to right. Fires. Great feet underneath. Adam Keith slammed dunk. Keith from Stockton. That's 6. Put the shot, Elliott. Elliott drives on Adam Keith, the running shot off the iron. Robinson, high in the air, slams it in. The Admiral, only a Del Negro left to right. Benny holds up. Wide left, Person, another 3-pointer. Good. The Rifleman lighting them up. Chuck Person with...
To go. Michael goes through everybody. Bulls down just 3. But then once again, Charlotte's turn. Kenny Anderson. Good to have him aboard. Penetration over Pippen. Hornets up 7. But then Jordan counters. Spinning. Gets by Darren Hancock and gets hacked in the act. Jordan had 40. Bulls down just 4. 10 seconds to go. Tony Kukoc has the ball. He drives. Misses. Pippen. No. Jordan. No. Pippen. No. And they get nothing as the clock winds down, and they are forced to like it. And indeed, it has happened. The Hornets victorious 98-97, and just 4 days after they were embarrassed by the Bulls in a 34-point loss at home, they win. Kenny Anderson had 18. Michael had 40 and 10 boards in the first home loss since March 24th last year, and thus the 44-game streak is abruptly over.
I wasn't all that disappointed we lost on our home floor. It's probably okay, go through this kind of a stretch. You know, you're going to go in the playoffs. And if you're undefeated, you think that you're impervious on your home court. And it's good to have reality set in and know that you got to go back out and play hard to win.
Guys have just been playing for stats, I guess you could say, instead of playing to win. That's not what it's about. I mean, Stats are not going to get you anything now. All-Star game is over.
Speaking of stats, what you asked was the difference in the Bulls between Friday and Monday. Fairly easy to quantify. 29 points, 12% from the field, and 21 points from the man you just heard from, Scottie Pippen. And so much now for winning number 70 on national TV. We move on. The Bullets and Heat fighting for their playoff life. The crowd consisting mostly of injured Bullets. So who would be the star? How about Alonzo Mourning? Are you going to drive on George? I've never seen that before. George usually so quick with the feet. How about Juwan Howard? Maybe he's the star. Takes the feed and goes in for the snowbird, jelly jam type thing. Howard had 25 to lead the Bullet. How about Liddell Eccles? Yeah, maybe it's a long shot, but he drills the three along the baseline, and then the pump fake gets Gatling to go up, drills the three again. Then with the shot clock winding down on the wing, he gets that to go, and then up and under on Rex Chapman, who gets faked into the first row, hits that, and then once again, all alone in the... Hey, it's Liddell Eccles, everybody. He had a bunch of threes in this game, and the Bullets win it by 12. Eccles throwing in 20 points, 15 of those from beyond the arc. Juwan Howard leading the way with 25 as the Bullets try to make the playoffs for the first time since '88. That would be the longest drought in the Eastern Conference currently, though it could be coming to an end on short order. The win over Miami moves them to within 2.5 games of the 8th spot in the East. That would have been a 1.5 game margin had the Hornets not beaten the Bulls. Both Miami and Washington have 7 games left to play. Reese.
The Jazz and the Spurs running the Midwest stretch drive more like Mr. Ed than Secretariat. Utah stumbled to a season-high 4-game losing streak before beating the Kings Sunday. San Antonio had dropped 3 of 4 following their franchise record 17-game winner. The reason, says Bob Hill, the Spurs haven't committed themselves defensively. The 3 losses, the Spurs had given up 10 points more per game than their season average. Hey, this guy wasn't Coach of the Month in March for nothing. Charles Smith out with back spasms, but Sean Elliott, bottom, scores the first 7 of the game for the Spurs, but the mailman offers pickup and delivery. The steal from Avery Johnson, coast to coast. Thank you very much. 21 from Malone. The Admiral getting it inside. Fade, fire, fills. Was only 2 of 3 from the floor on the night. Spurs careless with the ball. Usually a sure-handed team. They gave up 22 first-half points off turnovers. That's 2 of them for Chris Morris, 48-43 at the break. In the third, Elliott, 3-ball, 21 for Sean. And Benny Del Negro fading bottom. He had 9 in the third quarter, Spurs by 8. Then it's the Jazz. He was the big dog before big dog was big dog. And Quan Carr and some Harmy at 11, Jazz within 3. He's out of control, John Stockton, but the runner goes Jazz within 1. 10 seconds left. The rifleman. Oh, Person has range, but not that much. Chris Morris with the rebound. Jazz one last chance. 1.4 left. David Benoit. Spurs win it 92-91. The Jazz just 1 of 15 from three-point land. Elliott with 21. Avery Johnson had 17. And somehow the Admiral only got off those 3 field goal attempts. Still finished with 14. Spurs won. San Antonio up by 4 games with only 6 to play in the Midwest.
Our bench was absolutely phenomenal tonight. They held the lead. They increased the lead. And our bench, if we can keep our bench playing with about 9 guys going into the playoffs, we'll be really good.
We defended. I mean, they're an excellent half-court team. They execute extremely well. I thought we did a pretty good job for the most part. I can't say enough about Sean. Sean was fantastic. Came in both halves and started us off well, and then our bench was great.
Keep hearing the question, who's going to come out of the West? Well, the Spurs have fared quite well against potential Western playoff opponents, 18-7 so far this season, with games still to come against Seattle, Portland, and the Lakers. The sizzling Blazers gunning for their 8th straight against the Clips. Brent Barry finished up with 14. The Blazers would respond. Rod Strickland the miss. Narvitas with the soft hands, the rebound, and the hoop. 20 points, 11 boards. But the Clippers, just a little too much. The franchise. Stanley Roberts, the franchise. Inside for 2, he had 25. Clippers win at 102-89. A career high, or rather a season high of 25 for Big Stanley. Portland's 7-game winner is over. Strickland was benched for the first quarter for missing the bus to the team's shoot-around. Still winds up with 13 and 8 boards. Blazers shoot just 38.6% from the field and committed 17 turnovers. Portland gives up 100 points for only the 2nd time in 13 games.
1 week to the day after the sudden and tragic death. Sprewell had 25. Moments after that, George McLeod throws that up and misses. Bimbo Cole's going to grab the rebound, but while he yaks at the referee, Jason Kidd comes by, picks up the ball. Jimmy Jackson takes it and scores. Don't bicker while the ball is in play. Mavs still lead by 1. Kidd at the line And the freebie is not good. He missed a pair, but Kersey with the rebound. McLeod strips the ball. Dallas by 3. Warriors go for 2 instead of 3. Apparently not hip to the new math. Danielle Marshall with the dunk, closing seconds. Warriors down 2. Coles loses control, and they lose the game. Mavs win it by a pair. Kidd chiming in with 21 points, falling 1 rebound short of his 8th triple-double of the season. The loss drops Golden State 2 games behind Sacramento for the final playoff spot in the West. Reese.
Well, the second time in 3 seasons, Seattle had a chance to win 60 games. Given their recent playoff history, you'll forgive the Sonics if they aren't exactly gushing in their cafe lattes over a regular season feat. Still, number 60 could also be coupled with a little payback for the Knicks. New York handed Seattle one of its 3 home losses back in January. Return match at the Garden, Derek Harper. Oh, undergarments strewn, ankles broken. Payton abused. Knicks up 13-5. Irvin Johnson finds Sean Kemp, get vertical with a twist. A 20-4 Seattle run. Sonics up 25-17. In the second, if you can bounce pass well, you can play at any level. And Detlef Schrempf finds Hersey. Sonics by a dozen. Schrempf, Achtung, baby. 4th three-pointer of the first half. Sonics by a dozen. Third quarter, Seattle just dominating the boards. Gary Payton misses. Rain Man with the rebound. Payton will try it. No, sir. Schrempf the tip. No. Here's Irvin Johnson. No. Irvin again. No. Irvin one more time. He says, forget this. I'm going to give it to Hawkins. Hersey, 3 ball. 3 for 3 from three-point land. And the game gets physical. Kemp frustrated after getting drilled in the nose. Knicks keep it physical. Anthony Mason. And a little of that human touch. Then Mason and Payton discuss whether Mentos is really the fresh maker. Payton got a technical for it. Knicks down by 7. Harper. Might as well shoot it. Oh, and he was burning up from 3. 6 of 7 behind the arc. He had 22. Knicks within 4. But while Harper was burning, Ewing was frigid. 5 of 21 on the day. And Schrempf feeds the Rain Man. He's an excellent dunker. Very sparkly. Kemp, 25 points, 13 boards. The Sonics have won 10 out of 11. Schrempf, 24, 8 boards, and 6 dimes. This, the makeup game from the snow out earlier this season. Sonics had to jet cross-country and straight back. Schrempf said, we were ready to just pay the fine and go home, but once we got on the floor, we came alive. Certainly did. Hawks and Pacers. Arnold Ziffel, he's adored in Indiana. Final seconds, first quarter. Mark Jackson slings one up. Reggie's there to tip it home. Tied at 21 after 1. Nearing the end of the half, Jackson. Oh, no, look. Dale Davis stuffs it. Pacers by 11 at the break. Second half, Hawks running. Steve Smith to Grant Long. Up and over Yamu be there. Hawks down 3 after 3. In the fourth, Mookie. That's how he makes his living, playing the passing lanes. Gets the steal. Layup's as good as a dunk. Hawks by 1. A little too much Reggie. Check out this screen. Those elbows are out a little bit from Dale Davis, but it still frees Miller. Rip Cord scored Indy's last 8, 24 on the game. Pacers win at 97-95. Pacers got 3 teams for illegal defenses. It's also their first 3-game winning streak in more than a month. Smith's 12 of his 14 in the second half. Mookie, a game-high 27 in the losing effort.
Hideo Nomo has not been in this country very long, but he has already learned one of the great traditions. Saturday night win over the Supersonics, a game that ended with Rod Strickland stealing the ball to preserve the win. Last night the game began with Rod on the bench because he missed the team bus. Rod check in Phoenix, and there he is. He made the game, and he made an impact early. Strickland, Cliffy Robinson, Harvey Grant had 16 in the first half. Pretty touch pass, and the Blazers are up 5 after 1. Yes, the Suns do respond. KJ, whoop, behind the back to Charles. Lays it up, lays it in. A little too late, Arvidas. Then Arvidas takes over. Barkley. Ow! Loose ball. And then the three-pointer on the other end, Arvidas. 45-40 at the intermission, and they have started the third quarter. 55-47. Grant having a big game. He's got 17 points. Charles didn't do too bad himself. He's got 1 in the second half, had 12 at the break. Raptors, Bucks, neither team heading to the playoffs. Fourth quarter, Lee Mayberry, the long pass to Sean Westbrook goes high, comes down, and you never like to see that. Lands right on the foot of the defender, and Sean Westbrook ends up with a sprained right ankle. He would not return. Same quarter, the Bucks are up 1. Vin Baker, Glenn Robinson,
7 minutes left in the game.
Alley. Yep. The Bucks are up 3 with under 7 to go. We're tied at 92. Uh-oh, turnover. Tracy Murray, Doug Christie, back to Murray. Whammo. Raptors are winners, 102-96. The Bucks at home, 10-28. Vin Baker, 25 points, 16 boards for For the winning Toronto Raptors, Alvin Robertson, 25 points and 10 boards.
Inside the huddle time, and John Clayton says there was a lot more to the Sean Gilbert deal yesterday than simply the shuffling of defensive lines in St. Louis and Washington. There was a message there.
I mean, if he run back, you think maybe he's going to talk to him. Never, in my wildest dreams, I ever thought he would go over there and bump into him. You just don't do it because, you know, then it puts a bad name. You know, people look at him in a bad way, and then, you know, he hurt himself and hurt the team. It's a lot, you know, it's like 3 or 4 factors in this. What a season. I've been through more in 1 year than I have in 11, 12 years with my other squad.
What do you think?
All the years I've ever played basketball. I've never been through stuff like that, never.